Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. I'm your host, Charlie, and today we're joined by my favorite twin face, Rachel.
Hey everybody. Hi Charlie.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going good.
You just finished bedtime, right?
Yes. my
How was
kids are
that?
my kids are pretty good at bedtime, but like my youngest is 5,
Mm-hmm.
so they're kind of past the super annoying getting out of bed all the time stage, but also my kids have a hard time settling down for bed, so we do use melatonin pretty much every night in very small doses, and it helps them chill out and turn off their brains and go to sleep, and it's great. They're good kids.
Very
And
nice.
it works out great, especially if we don't if we're good about like having screens turned off 2 hours before bed, and then we like have quiet time, and today they took a bath, and anyway, today was exceptionally good. It's not always this good.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Props to you.
Anyway, thanks.
And
Thanks.
you're about to restart your getting out of bed face.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
Yes.
that?
Uh I I am very excited to have another baby, but yeah, sometimes I think about the like I'm restarting all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to be waking up all night again and feeding a baby all night again and carrying a kid or anyway. But so part of me is worried because it's going to be exhausting, but I'm also really excited because it's a fun phase. I liked it. I like babies, and it's been kind of sad to not have any babies. So it'll be good. I think I'm looking forward to it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Are there any new exciting pregnancy updates?
Um yes, we did find out we're having a boy. We found
Ooh,
out like a couple days after Christmas on our anniversary actually,
that's two
which
of
was
each
fun.
now, right?
Yeah, so two of each, and it goes girl boy girl boy.
That
So all of my kids are happy about it, even the girls because they like
oh.
the symmetry. um but they all got to come because my OB's office, the sonogram rooms, the one we had been in before was kind of big. Like it had like 5 or 6 chairs in it. So I was like, huh, I bet we could bring all the kids and then they'd get to see and that would be cool. The room we ended up in was smaller and only
Nope.
had 2 chairs. But my kids are good. So it like wasn't stressful and it was totally fine. Um, and they got to see the baby and they enjoyed it, I think. It was fun.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now I have like mountains of baby clothes because now that I know, I mean, a lot of my baby stuff is gender neutral just because I'm not big into like pink or blue or like,
Hmm.
a lot of it's gender neutral
Not
anyway.
a lot of
But then
bows.
like, no, I'm not a bow. I'm not a bow mom. I don't do those. But I mean, some people do, and it's great if that's your thing. It's not my thing. But my sister had like a giant bag. She's like, "You gave me a bunch of baby clothes because she had my nephews like after I had my son. I
Hmm.
forgot that I'd given her stuff and she saved it for years and gave it all back. My
Well,
son is
that's nice.
8.5, almost 9. But so she just gave me this giant bag and like it's all stuff I remember him wearing, which is so fun and it's fun to have it back. And then my sister-in-law, we visited for Thanksgiving and she was like, I haven't ever gotten rid of any of my son's clothes. And that nephew's 3. And so
Wow.
she had like everything.
You have so much
She's like, take
organizing
what
to
you
do.
want. I have organized most of it. And I have pretty much everything, which is fun. But yeah, lots of bins. I thought of you as I was buying bins.
Yes.
The bins in the right size I wanted, and then the right yes. And I had my label maker out and I labeled
You
anyway.
really
It's
were
been fun.
channeling me.
Yes. Yes.
I make all of the boxes and they all have labels on them. And not
Yeah.
only that, but if I like do a day of packing where I do it with my like a specific friend, I'll
Yeah.
remember me and this friend packed the kitchen and I use the
Aw.
laughing crying emoji post-it notes with my friend. So that way I
Aw.
remember where like all of the stuff from the house was.
Yeah, it, like mentally helps you categorize
Mm-hmm.
where your things were, so you can backtrack. I do that too. Like, where was I when I did the thing and who was I with?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's
Remember,
really
we laughed about how we have way too many lids for the Tupperware or something like that.
yeah, yes, yes. Yes, that does happen. Ugh. Um I was going to ask you how your elimination diet thingy is going. Are you feeling any better?
Um,
Has it been really hard? It sounds really hard to me.
it is. It's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. However, it's like I wouldn't say I feel any different, but I usually have like it's hard for me to have a baseline of like what regular people's digestion is like
Oh
because
yeah.
I just always have bad digestion.
Yeah.
And I have for so many years that I didn't realize that bad digestion that I had it. So I
Oh.
think my digestion is a little bit better, but
Okay, that's good.
um, not incredibly better. But I mean, this kind of stuff takes time, and
It does.
like I've come up with some pretty cool ideas and easy stuff. Like I made breakfast bars yesterday. Well, I made
Ooh.
them last week, and it's been a lifesaver because like I know that intermittent fasting is all the rage or whatever, but
Ugh,
it's not
I
really for
can't.
me.
It's not for me either. I get angry.
So I just like to eat like small things here and
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
so like I'll eat this is the way that I've been surviving is I have gone and I found because it's like enriched flour is the hard thing. And so
Yeah.
I've gone and I found in non-enriched rice cereal and they're like rice
Okay.
checks or whatever. And so I get up in the morning and it's really cold outside. So I'll go start my car and get like the defrost going. And then I will like while my car's defrosting, I'll eat like a small bowl of like rice cereal. And then I made these
Uh-huh.
breakfast bars that it's kind of a take on like I went through a phase where I made so many Rice Krispie treats.
I love Rice Krispie treats. I love that. They
Um,
are not kidding, one of my favorite things.
it was a little bit
Okay.
of a way to for me to process because I have this really complicated relationship with my mom's extended family. So, well, I wouldn't even say
Yeah.
extended family. Like my mom didn't introduce me to anyone outside of like
Yeah, that's right.
her. Yeah, yeah.
You didn't know any of them, right? Like,
No, not none of
yeah,
them.
you
The
met your
first
grandma when you're like 14 or something?
no, I didn't meet her when I was 14. I
Oh,
didn't know
is
she
that when she
existed
died?
till
Till
I was
till you were
14.
14.
I just thought
Got it.
that she had died before I was born or something. But then she called the house whenever I was
That's right.
14.
You're
And
like,
I was like,
"What?"
who may you say is calling? And she's like, your grandma? And I was like, oh, I didn't know you existed. Um
Sorry. My mom never told me about you. That's right. That's right. I remember.
yes. So but then later when it was my senior semester and I went and lived in Colorado because I didn't have anything to take in college,
Yeah.
one of my maternal's grandparents or my maternal grandpa, his sister
Yes.
died. And
Oh,
so
okay.
we went to the funeral in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. And I ended up like in this farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, like meeting all of these people that I looked like, but I had never like
So weird.
experienced anything. Like I wasn't. I would say my personality is more like my dad's family, and my looks are more like my
Mm,
mom's family. So I was like when I met all of my dad's family for the first time because I also had that same
yeah.
experience a few years earlier. But I was like, oh my gosh, I act like all of these people. And then whenever
Yeah.
I met all of my mom's side of the family, I was like, oh my gosh, I look like all these people, but they're like
So different.
so different than me.
Mhm. Oh, that's
Anyway,
crazy.
so long story short, not really that short, but um
It's also not that long.
when
You're
I was
okay.
28, my grandma, my maternal grandma, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and
Mm.
like stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And she knew she was
Oh,
going to die.
wow.
It was like she was like in her mid to late 80s. And
Mm.
So she was just like, I've lived a long enough life. I don't really want to do the whole chemo thing. We'll just do it.
Yeah, just gonna wait it out. Yeah.
Hmm. And so she had asked if her grandkids would come visit her, because she said that was like one of the things that she regretted, is not
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to us more. And I went. And I
Mm-hmm.
went at a time when my sister, who's always been close to her whole life, was there. So it wasn't as awkward. She kind of could be a little bit of
Oh,
a
that's
buffer.
nice.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that she taught me to make was Rice Krispie treats.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes them a little different. She doesn't use marshmallow. She uses honey.
Oh,
And
I want that recipe. That sounds
yes,
cool.
I will tell you, it's like a cup of peanut butter, a cup of
Oh,
honey, and
uh-huh.
cornstarch and some butter, or not cornstarch,
Corn
corn
syrup?
syrup. Yeah, corn syrup. Just like
Okay.
maybe probably like 2 tablespoons of corn syrup. And the consistency
Oh.
should just, you put it all in a pot, and then the
Mm-hmm.
consistency should be, as it warms, should just be kind of like, um, I don't know, kind of like sticky gum, I guess. So you like pull it up, and it
Yeah.
and it like makes
Like
peaks.
stretchy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
you like let it heat until it like just barely starts bubbling, but don't like, you have to just
Mm-hmm.
like time it right. You'll have to figure out what time it is. It's not like a specific amount of
Yeah.
time or anything like that, but you just like, you smell it, you look at it, you like make sure that it's not going to
Yeah.
burn, and then like, that's when you put whatever you want to put in it. So for a long time I
Okay.
tried all different kinds of stuff in it. I tried Rice Krispies. I used to make these oatmeal bars.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that
That
I'm on
sounds
right
good.
now is I go and get unenriched honey grams, which are basically
Mm-hmm.
just like tiny little graham cracker cereal.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
I
good.
I put that in there, and then those are my breakfast bars.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like candy making. Like I
Mm-hmm.
bet, like I know it. I'm not a good candy maker kind of person, but I bet if you, because like I feel like most of the time when you're learning from someone, it's very like you just have to do it and then you'll know. Or
Mm-hmm.
they're like, get a thermometer and watch it until it says this 213 degrees.
Well, you have to be like mixing it the whole time so it doesn't like
Yeah, you
stick
have
to
to
the
stir it so it
sides.
doesn't burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
made
have to
some of
try
those
that.
yesterday, and they're delicious. So I like stock them
Where
up. It makes like a whole pan, and then I cut it into like
That's
granola bar
awesome.
size.
Yeah. I love little snacks like that. But where are you finding these unenriched cereals? Do you even have like I'm imagining you're having to shop at like Whole Foods. Do you have a Whole Foods? Do you have a natural grocer? Like where
Yeah,
are you
I
finding
mean
these
there is
cereals?
there is a Whole Foods and a natural grocers in a town that's like
Okay.
45 minutes away. But all of
Ugh.
that stuff that I've been finding has been at Aldi. Do you guys have Aldi?
Yes, I love Aldi.
Yeah,
Aldi's
I've
my
had like a
favorite.
lot of good luck at Aldi, and then like I went to like a health food
Mm,
store, and I got unenriched flour,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
I've been making my biscuit. I've been on a biscuit kick because I was like, well, I can make biscuit because yeast
I
is
can
on
make
my list
biscuits.
too.
Yeah, so you have to find everything that rises with baking soda, baking
Yeah, baking
powder. Yeah.
powder. Yeah. So
Yeah.
because did you listen to the episode with Victoria where I talked about how I went on a biscuit kick and I would like fill everything
Yes.
with biscuits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so I'm doing
I
that
saw your
again.
peanut butter ones.
Yeah, those were so
Those looked
good.
really good. Oh,
Uh
man.
yeah, I made those Saturday night. It was so good.
Woohoo. They looked amazing. And that
Yes.
sounds so good. Oh, 45 minutes away. That's not, but Aldi has a lot of good stuff. And my kids are sensitive to food coloring and food dyes.
Oh.
So I went on a dye-free thing, like during COVID, because I was like, we're not going anywhere. And it's a lot easier to control. So I did an experiment where I like cut out all food coloring for like 2 weeks, and then I gave them like some juice where I just like took the bottle of blue food coloring, like squirted it in,
Hmm.
and it was they went insane. Like, they were crazy people, like, running around our yard, like, yelling nonsense words and, like, trying to hit each other with hula hoops, and, like, I have videos, and I'll go back and watch them and be like, "Oh my gosh, feral children." Um, but so, we don't do a lot of food coloring, and Aldi, they do dye-free. Anything that's like their Aldi brands,
Mhm,
house branded stuff is dye-free, and most of their stuff is preservative-free too,
mhm.
and a couple other things. But one thing that's really hard to find without food coloring is pickles. They put yellow food
Really?
coloring in pickles, but Aldi has really good pickles with no food coloring, and they look just fine. So I don't know why everyone puts this food dye and all this stuff. Anyway, so I shop at Aldi. I haven't been lately, and it makes me sad because I just haven't been, like, physically going to the store because
Mhm,
I've been sick and I don't have time. So I've been
mhm.
doing a lot of, like, Walmart Plus delivery to my house.
Yeah. Um,
And I miss Aldi so much. I need to go.
Northwest Arkansas is bougie enough. I don't know if, where
Uh-huh.
you live does, but Northwest Arkansas, is bougie enough that the people will come in your house and put it in the fridge if you want.
Yes. I that freaks me out, so I do not let them do that. And my husband is, um, very wary of, I don't know, like, when we tease him that he always has his tinfoil hat on for conspiracy theories,
Hey, you know
but
what? I could talk to him for all day.
you could, and some of the things, but it's not like crazy it's like, we don't own an Amazon Alexa or Echo device
I don't either.
because they're listening
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
And so then he'll
100%.
look up right? And then he'll look things up like, "Oh, well, there's actually a thing," because he's a computer guy, so he'll be like, "There's a thing that you can 3D print that goes on top of the Alexa, and it, like, plays a low-level white noise all the time, and then it's also got a tiny computer in it that you program yourself, and then you give it a different name, and so it will, like, you talk to that, and then that thing will whisper your instructions to the Alexa underneath." So
You're
and
telling
he's
this
like,
story like you're trying to heckle him, but I'm on the same page.
I'm not trying to heckle, I'm just saying it's kind of funny. Anyway, we haven't done it because it's just a long process.
Yeah, you have to figure that
So,
out.
we don't own one. But anyway, so the idea of people coming into our house and putting the groceries away, he's like, "No,
That will
it's
not be
fine.
happening.
That will
They're
not
gonna put our
happen."
house map on the they're gonna put the
Ri
interior house of
right?
map of our house on the
On
yeah,
somewhere,
the server that
on
has all of
the
the
thing.
information. Yeah.
Yes.
Where the
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
analyzes it.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, a lot of the well, I'm using air quotes, conspiracy stuff with AI and computers, it's not it sounds kooky, but there's a lot of truth to it, and it can be very scary, so I'm not mad that he's very careful.
Yeah.
I'm, like, grateful that because I'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing," and he's like, "But wait a minute, what are you using to sign up for that? What browser are you on? What cookies are turned on? What is tracking you?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that because they kind of bank on you not thinking about it
Mhm.
and just letting them track your online stuff, and anyway, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, yeah, so we don't let Walmart come into our house, and every time I don't even have the separate app. Because 'cause you're
Oh,
supposed to get this
yeah.
separate, like, in-home app, and I'm like, "No, because 'cause they're not going in my house. I don't need to watch a recording of them, like, dropping this stuff off on my porch." Like, I know you left it
Hey,
on my porch.
thanks.
But every time I place an order now, it'll give me a pop-up that says, "Due to past issues delivering to your address, please clarify your address info," and then it's, like, asking for a gate code or, like, a house number, and I'm like, "As far as I know, there have never been problems. No one has ever complained. It
This
always
is
shows
fake
up to my
news.
house on time." Right? I'm like, "I don't have to do that.
You have
You're
issues, not
confused.
me.
You're confused because the Walmart people are very nice and have never told me there are problems." And my house is very easy to find. It is not we live in a subdivision
Yeah.
on a corner. It's not It's not like a back road thing. It's not like
It's
it's
not
not
like a turn at the yellow gate kind of a thing.
no, it's not County Road number 37. No, no. It's very easy to find.
Hmm. My sister that lives
Anyway.
in Hawaii, she lives in such a back road place that like you cannot put the address in on GPS. Like
Oh yeah.
there's just no there that you just have to know where it
It
is.
doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
I have been to people's houses like that where like you can't actually put that in your map.
Yeah,
Sorry, let
you're
me
just
just give
gonna
you verbal directions.
yeah, we're just gonna have to pick you up at the 7-Eleven. That's what they did when we first got there.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well,
we
at least
drove,
it's your sister.
yeah,
It's not
except
like
for
Airbnb guests. Can you
right.
like imagine your host trying to pick you up at the 7-Eleven? I'm taking you to a secure location.
It's the 7-Eleven.
It's fine.
Hey, in Hawaii, 7-Eleven is something different.
It yes.
There's a place when I was at the 7-Eleven by my sister's house, they had like trifold handout flyers that
Uh-huh.
were for 7-Eleven catering.
What?
Yeah, I was like, this is only in Hawaii.
What?
He,
Catering.
yeah, catering. But I mean,
I'm
it
trying to
checks out. 7-Eleven has such good musubi.
Okay. Okay.
Do you not
I will
remember?
take your word for it. I don't know that I ever went and got it because we didn't have was it a 7-Eleven in La EA?
No, it wasn't a seven. That was a Chevron.
No, that was a Chevron. See,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a car. So the only times I went places are like if you took me somewhere, or I think I had like 2 other friends with cars,
Yeah.
and that was it.
I basically just took my car to the 7-Eleven, which was in Haula,
Okay.
which was not that far away.
Oh, that's not that far. Yeah, I just don't think I ever went there.
Yeah.
And also, crazy thing, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day about like Hawaiian food and like I crave it sometimes now, but then I'll think about popular Hawaiian foods and I'm like, I don't know if I ever ate musubi when I was there. I don't know. I can't remember. I was a poor college student. They didn't have it at the cafeteria with my meal plan. So I don't know if I ever bought it. And then I was trying to think of other things like loco moco, which is something I will
Mm-hmm.
make at home. It's just rice, a hamburger patty,
And
a,
this
a
over
fried egg with
medium.
like a soft
Yeah.
yolk. Yeah. And then gravy, brown gravy. But I don't know that I ever actually ate it when I went out to eat anywhere. Because again, they
They
didn't
ha-
have it
they
at the
had it. They
cafeteria.
had it at the Seasider.
They did. But when I went to the Seasider, I would spend my budget on the sandwiches. Do you remember
Oh
those?
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I dream about those
I
sandwiches. They
do
were
too.
so
They're
good.
so good. They had this amazing homemade bread that
Yes.
was like
Like
part whole
okay,
wheat
and
and
not only that, but
fresh.
it's like the bread that they like in America at least they like shrink our bread to like to be the size of like I don't even know
Oh,
what it's
yeah.
comparable to, but like
Yeah,
it's
just
tiny,
tiny,
teeny
tiny
tiny.
bread.
It's like the way bread
No,
used to be when it
it's
was
like thick.
giant.
It's
Yes.
thick.
Hmm.
The loaf is huge. The slices are like a good half an inch to 3/4 of
Hmm.
an inch.
The thing that the
Ah,
kicker that I can never like find a replacement for is this
uh-huh.
sounds gross, but they had cranberry mayonnaise.
I love that stuff. I have been I found it one other place. Okay, I will have to tell you because I love it, and it's something I don't make on my own because when do you ever have
Mhm.
cranberry sauce except
Mhm.
at Thanksgiving? So when I
Mhm.
make and I like anyway, I'll make it for myself around Thanksgiving. Um, it's really good. And we found it when we lived in California. There was a Jewish deli that had cran mayo on as like an option. And so we would go there and I would get it and I would be
Was it in
like,
San Diego?
"No, we lived in the Bay Area." So it was in
Oh.
Redwood City. It's like south
Hmm.
of San Francisco. I think it closed
Because
after
there's
we
like a
moved.
really good Jewish bakery in San Diego that my friend Kristen took me to.
Ah. And see, I don't know if it's a Jewish thing or not. I just was it was like an East Coast transplant thing. So
Mhm.
then I thought maybe I'll find cran mayo on the East Coast when I lived in New England.
Did
I
you?
never saw it. No.
I have never been able to
I've
replace it or
never
find it.
seen it. Right? It's so weird, but it has to be a thing. I want to Google it now. I want to go on a deep
Mhm.
dive. I don't know. I'll
If
report
you
back.
are a former Seasider employee, please leak the recipe. We need it.
Yeah. Tell us what kind of mayo you used. Tell us if it was it a can of cranberry sauce. If it's just
Was
that, I
it
can
just
do
like
that.
cranberry juice? Like, what was it?
I know. I feel like there was fruit in it because there were little flecks of something. I don't know. Oh, but a BLT with that
Mm-hmm.
bread and the cran
Mm-hmm.
mayo is one of my favorite things. So I usually spent all of my, because you would get with a meal plan. I was a resident advisor in the dorms, so I got free meal plan and free housing, and the meal plan included like a little bit of extra money that you could use at the, so there's the cafeteria, and then there's the Seasider Cafe, which is, it's just a restaurant on
Yeah, yeah.
campus.
Would you call it a restaurant?
It's a smaller cafeteria.
It's like a sandwich bar with
Yeah,
also a place that you
the
can
stir
get
fry
stir
bar.
fry and
There's
like
ice cream, right?
breakfast. Yeah, there was ice cream. There was like breakfast stuff too, and then there was like a hot bar that you could get
Yeah,
anything off the
where they
hot bar.
had they had
They had
and they had like
rice and chili. I would just okay, so
chili, yes, chili rice.
they had chili rices. Okay, let me tell you how I did this. Okay,
Okay,
so I was so like trying to cut costs everywhere I could whenever I went to college
yeah,
because I was like, this is so expensive because we live in
it's so
Hawaii.
expensive to live there. Yeah,
And so my bright idea was that there was an exception. So if you lived, there were dorms without kitchens and there were dorms with
yes.
kitchens. I lived in a dorm without a kitchen. And if you
Shout
lived
out
in the
Holly
dorm with,
1.
hey, Holly.
No, sorry, Holly 5. You were in 5.
No, I
Sorry,
was in 3.
3.
Holly
Close.
1 was the one with
Holly
the
1 is the one with
kitchens.
the kitchen. I got the
Yeah.
numbers mixed up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, guys.
Well, it's okay because they're not have you been there? They're not the same anymore at all. Oh my
I have heard.
gosh.
I haven't been since 2011, but I have seen pictures, and I think the only one that's basically unchanged is the one where I worked, which was Holly 2.
Yeah, Holly, you lived in Holly too. I remember that because so
Yeah.
I lived in Holly 3 for okay, so let me tell you my story.
Yes.
I first got there. I did I tell you my life hack how I like transferred like with almost associates, but I was so bad at math. I
Hey, this is another way we're twins. I did the same thing.
really I scored
Yes.
when I went into community college. I didn't take the SAT. I didn't take any of that stuff, but I scored
Yeah.
so low on the entrance exam to community college that I had to
Yeah.
take 4 math classes before I could take one that counted. So I just took everything but
geez.
math, and then I transferred over
Yeah.
and just took regular math when I got to the other school. So that was my hack.
Okay.
But
Okay.
in order to like qualify for a lot of the extra stuff with the dorms, you have to be at least a junior or above. So
Yes.
I went in, I was technically a sophomore because I hadn't taken any of my math, so I didn't have my associates. So I had like one semester where I was like a certain amount of credits short of being an upperclassman. So I had to have the cafeteria, and I remember it was so horrible. Literally the only thing I would like, okay, so I really respect the chef because who made all the food because he was really cool and I'm friends with his daughter and like he's a really cool dude.
He's a great guy,
and
but the food was
he was incorporating it was an international school, so he's incorporating foods from all different types of cultures, which is a really great thing if you want to try food from all different kinds of cultures. But sometimes you just want some damn mashed potatoes.
It was cafeteria food from all different cultures, though. It was not. It wasn't real. It was like we would have lemon chicken. It was chicken nuggets with a lemon sauce. Then the next day we would have sweet and sour chicken, which was chicken nuggets with a sweet and sour sauce. And then like they had 4 or 5 different variations of chicken nuggets like that. There was always rice. There was so much
there was
rice.
Always rice. Listen,
you can always depend on that.
That's how I survived. Okay. And that is how I became the best stir-fried rice maker ever. Because the other thing that you could always get was eggs. You could always get eggs.
Yes.
You could always get rice, and you could always get cereal. But I don't really love cereal all that much. No. So that option was not for me.
Yeah, I didn't get that often.
Yeah. And so I would get, and so they also had peas and carrots always forever.
Oh,
So
yep.
you could get peas and carrots, you could get rice. So I'll go get a bowl, go get peas and carrots and rice, and then get the guy to make me an egg, like a scrambled egg, and put that on there.
Yeah.
And then at every table there's like soy sauce. So then I would just
Yep.
like put all the
To
soy
show
sauce
you.
in,
Mhm.
and I would eat or fried rice like every day.
Oh.
So that was my
See,
hack for that.
the hack that I would always do with my roommate was that the salad bar. Okay, here's what it is. Okay, sorry, I'm remembering. They always had a grilled cheese station, or they had like an industrial toaster
Oh
and like a little
yeah.
grilled cheese panini press kind of thing.
I totally forgot about
And the
that.
cheese, yeah, the cheese they had out was gross. It was like Kraft Singles American cheese, nasty. So we would go to the salad bar and get the shredded cheese and put that on
Hey.
and make a grilled cheese with that. And then at one point they stopped putting cheese out. And we were like, what? And so because I was an RA, I got to have meetings. Like one time, people have been complaining about food services a lot. So they brought in the head of food services to talk to the RAs to kind of like hype it up so that we would hype it up for everybody else. And I remember asking him, I said, hey, there used to be cheese at the salad bar and now there's no more shredded cheese at the salad bar. What's up with that? Could we get more cheese? And he did not give a direct answer. He gave a very roundabout answer about how the things on the salad bar are always changing because they try to keep fresh seasonal ingredients. So you're never going to get the same thing at the salad bar. It's always seasonal and always changing. And I just sat there and I went, but cheese doesn't have a season. And he did not. I don't think I said it to him because I was not that bold, but I said it to my friend who was sitting next to me, and we just kind of were very confused. So that's been something I think about every
Cheese
once in
doesn't
a while.
have
It's
a
like, cheese is
season.
not seasonal. Like, you can make that stuff anytime. That's not a cucumbers versus a cabbage situation.
Like looking at
you know,
it from with like grown-up eyes, it's probably because they spent all the budget and the cheese was so expensive.
it probably was. I don't remember if it ever came back. I was just very sad.
Yeah.
That I could not do my grilled cheese hack. But
Yeah, that was so your grilled cheese was my fried rice.
Yeah, fried rice. Yep.
Anyway, so I did one semester at the cafeteria and I was like, I am not paying $8 a meal for fried rice anymore. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, it was insanely expensive. Yeah.
So here's what I did. I decided to, once I became a upperclassman, then you could go on this meal plan called the club card, which card, if you go to BYU Hawaii, I'm sure it still exists. It's way cheaper. And here's your hack. They give you $250 a semester to the cafeteria or the Seasider. And the Seasider, like when I was like leaving, the Seasider had groceries too.
Oh,
so
what?
Yeah, it like evolved.
That's amazing.
But this is what I would do. I would like go and get the chili and rice, which is $1.50, and I would eat chili and rice like for like my first meal of the day, usually around like 10 o'clock in the morning. And and then I would come back and get a stir fry, and then the stir fries were huge, so then I would eat that for like maybe lunch and dinner. And then if that didn't work, then there was Taco Bell, and I could go to Taco Bell and get like a beefy 5-layer for like $3, and then I could, which was still cheaper than the cafeteria. And if that didn't fail, I was not. You were an RA. I'm sorry. It was 10 years ago, but and I know we weren't supposed to have appliances.
I'm not gonna get you in trouble for this.
Don't take my degree away because I
also, if it was not in my dorm, I ignored it because people broke rules all the time, and I was like, if you're not in my hallway where I have to monitor you, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that because it makes my life easier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's what I did.
So what did you have?
So I had a
what fire
kettle.
hazard?
I had
Okay.
electric kettle, and then I had a sandwich maker. And you would be surprised what you can do with an electric kettle and a sandwich maker. And
I
my RA knew
believe
about
it.
it. And
And just let okay, cool.
well, okay, so here was the deal I made with my RA. She loved hot dogs. And I told her I would make her a hot dog anytime she want. I would stock my fridge. I had a mini fridge. I would stock my fridge with hot dogs and she could come get them whenever she wanted. And I would make it for her as long as she didn't turn me in. And it worked.
I think I remember her. That's awesome. You know what? That sounds better than my solution. I remember. So in the mornings, you could pick up, like, if you weren't going to be able to go to the cafeteria for lunch, you could grab like a sack lunch with your meal plan. So I would do that, and you could pack it with like a certain number of things, and I would like stock up on cup noodle.
Yeah,
So I would
that's
always
exactly
have
what I
that in
did.
my room. Yeah. And okay, so the kitchen that we had in our dorm, it was supposed to close at like 10 p.m. or something. Like whoever was on duty would lock it. And technically, I had a master key. I could just open the kitchen and like go in there and use the microwave any time of day. But I felt like I didn't want to do that because then people would start asking me to open it for them if they saw that I was using it. And B, it was all the way downstairs and I was upstairs and I didn't want to. So I would go turn on the shower to as hot as it would go and make cup noodle with the shower water. And I forgot. I legitimately I forgot that it was not good. Like, it was not a good idea and it didn't taste good.
I bet it didn't.
I forgot about it legitimately until like a few years ago. My old roommate was like, I just remember you trying to make cup noodle shower water whenever I think of you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did that. That's so gross.
It's so gross.
Those showers were not clean.
Not clean. No. No, nothing was clean.
My dorm, I think, was a bit cleaner than the other dorms because here's the other thing about Holly too that BYU Hawaii liked to boast about, but it wasn't really a boast, but they were like, we are the only co-ed dormitory on any BYU campus. But guess what that means?
It means that one half of the building has men and one half of the building has women, and that
there's a steel door in the middle of the hallway that locks, and only the dorm parent has a key. And then anytime you have to go to the other side, so like I would have to help people that got locked out of their rooms. And so if you had to go to if I had to go to the men's side, I had to yell like RA in the hallway. So all the men knew that there was a girl coming through.
Scandalous.
And I had a friend who every time he would hear me, he would like come out of his room and like lift up his shirt and be like, whoa, girls are here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's as scandalous as it got.
Yeah,
and Holly too.
For people who do not understand, there are extremely strict rules about men and women being in the dormitories. They're not allowed at all. If you live in a female dorm, there are no males allowed at all. And literally, it has a line painted on the ground that says "No males past this point" or "No females past this point."
I forgot about the line. Yeah,
yeah, literally. And so that causes like a problem with people who are in love because they always make out on the freaking door key because you have to like put your card in the key to get in, and they would always make out at, and I'd just be like, bro, can you, all I'm trying to do is get to my room, can you please just,
could you be like 6 feet away?
Yeah, it'd be
just
great.
Step back.
Like, continue on, I don't care, just move so I can get in.
Just not right by the door, please. There's like a million benches out here. You could pick any of them.
Exactly.
I used to have to, as an RA, like the worst part of my job was there's no PDA like in the common area, like in the lounge where all the couches and stuff were.
Table and stuff.
pianos, computers, random stuff. And people, if they started making out, we were supposed to go break it, like be like, excuse me, there's no PDA in here. It was so uncomfortable. I hated it so much. I would like watch for a while and be like, please just stop by yourself.
Actually,
And then I would like go in with cleaning supplies and like go clean a table right next to them.
make eye contact.
Anything to not have to talk to them because it was so awkward.
That honestly, truly, that common space is probably as scandalous as Holly 2 gets, because it is the only common room that both of you are allowed to have access to.
No, I always was over in the boys in Holly 4.
Yes, you're allowed to be there during the day, but after 10 p.m.
Oh, after 10 p.m. the common room was locked. The common area was closed.
I remember going there late at night one time, and because whenever I
oh, well, okay, it depended on who was working in the office, because some people wouldn't close it till like midnight when they were off duty.
Oh.
You could kind of choose. It was right after I left, housing got really strict. So I don't know how it changed, but
well,
yeah.
It
used to just kind of be up to you.
The other cool thing about Holly 2 is upperclassmen dorm. So when I got put there and then they put me with a freshman, I was not exactly happy about that.
But you did live in Holly 2?
Yeah, I did eventually. So okay, so here's what I did.
Okay, that was after I left.
Mm-hmm. It was after you left, because here's what I did. I lived in a shared room for like a year with one roommate, and then after that year, I knew that the person that was in our same suite in the single room was moving out. And like before she moved out, I went and put my name on her list, because at that time they started over admitting. And I knew that was my only chance to get a single room, because they were turning all the single rooms into double rooms. So I went and put my name on the list, and I got the single room, and I just moved like 4 feet away from my other dorm. And then
Easiest move ever.
Yes, truly. And then I stayed in that room for the next 2 years until it was my senior semester. And I was like, they can't put another person in my room if I just camp out and I never go home and I never do anything. I will figure this out. Like literally one time, I didn't have enough credits to stay over the summer, but I was 1 credit short because I had taken like a bunch of religion classes that were only 1 credit. And then I actually, I think you were in the play too, weren't you? Were you in Wizard of Oz
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were. So when I was in that play, I was 1 credit away, and being in the play, you got 2 credits for being in the play. And
I totally forgot.
And so I signed up to get the credits for being in the play, but then I was still like just 1 credit short. So I went to the housing office. I said, guys, I'm in the play. What can I do? Like, there's no other classes that I can take. And like, I'm just 1 credit short. Will you give me some sort of variance for being full-time or whatever? And they said, no, but technically the director of the play could give you more credit if they wanted to. So I went to the director of the play and I was like, please, I'm going to get kicked out of my dorm. I really don't want to get kicked out of my dorm. Could you please just sign a paper that says that this is worth 3 credits? And I was like, I will build sets. I will do whatever you want me to do, please. And he was like, yeah, sure. So he signed it and I got to stay in the dorm. So shout out to the director of the Wizard of Oz, because that saved my life.
Go, Craig Ferry.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember his name, because I did not.
Yeah. I just remember because it was Ferry, but it wasn't spelled like you think. It was Ferre.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember
I just remember that was weird. Yeah, I can't believe you got 3 credits for that play. That was the dumbest play. It was so stupid.
Hey, we had so much fun.
We had so much fun. It was a delight to be in, but I felt bad for everyone that had to watch it, because it was like the worst adaptation of The Wizard of Oz that they wrote for like maybe an elementary school or middle school to try to give every single person a part.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't remember. I think you might have done this same part as me, but my part was a backup witch assistant to the Wicked Witch of the West.
That's the best.
And I had to say, I had to say things like tee-hee, like literally. Tee-hee, woohoo! Like all of our lines rhymed. It was and like traded off. It was very cheesy. It was
It's
so bad.
That's literally the best part because I had like 4 lines and I got to stay in my dorm and get 3 credits for like
That's true.
4
I
lines.
I am very grateful that you got to stay. I'm just like, holy crap, that play.
And the other wonderful thing, my friend is just are you friends with Jessica?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other
Yeah,
wonderful
Jessica,
thing,
Paula, Jessica.
yeah, Jessica, Paula,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah.
So the other wonderful thing about that play is that I was like married in that play. For my
Oh.
4 lines, we were like just people who lived in Oz that were married. Um,
Oh, that's
and
right.
so my fake husband in the play on stage did end up becoming Jessica's real husband,
Oh
because
my
I kept
gosh.
inviting him to Latino Club, and he would come, and that's where I knew Jessica from. So I introduced them, and
Oh
then
my
they
gosh.
became friends and never dated, and then ended up dating like 10 years later.
10 years later. I kept wondering because I was like, when they got together, I was like, I recognize him. Just
Hmm.
Facebook stalking, being creepy.
Hmm.
But I was like, why do I recognize him? I don't remember.
Now you
I could
do.
not remember at all. And now I know.
He was in the
I
play,
don't
and his
remember
dad was in the play too.
what?
Yeah, his dad
Whoa.
was Oz,
Oh,
or the
I
Great and
don't
Powerful.
remember very much from that play at all. Me and Amy were witch assistants and got
Yes,
to wear really big prosthetic noses, and that's
yes.
all I remember. Oh,
And then
oh
wasn't the
man.
director also the teacher of
Our
our voice
freeing the
and
natural
diction?
voice
Yeah,
class.
yeah, dude. That is.
Yes.
We still need to do that.
We need to I know. I was like, "Oh man, we've been talking for a while, but this is do you wanna talk about do you remember the Shakespearean sonnet we had to perform together in that class?
Yeah,
Or that we chose to? Yeah.
yeah. I don't remember the whole. Like I barely remember
I
it.
don't remember which one,
But I remember the
but
thing that I
do you
remember is that we were in a hairdressing situation,
Uh-huh.
and you were like doing my hair, and we were like having
Oh,
dialogue with the sonnet. That's what I remember.
yes. I think we did 2, because I remember that one. We had to, like, modernize we had to take a sonnet and then take the context and, like, what's this actually about, and then apply it to a more modern situation.
Hmm.
So, there was the hair thing, but the one I remember is we decided it would be super fun if it was like it was like one where someone was super mad at the other person. And I was like, "What if I was your mom and I found out that you were, like, 16 and pregnant, and I found the pregnancy test." Do you remember this?
I don't, but it checks out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know, maybe we, like, nixed it and went with the other one instead, but I remember both of those, like or I don't
Did we
know,
do
but yeah,
two?
I we might have done 2, but I remember you, like we made, like, a prop we, like, made, like, on a piece of paper, a little thing that looked kinda like a just a rectangle with, like, a plus on it, and I, like, picked it up and was like, "Oh, rah, rah, rah," saying whatever Shakespearean words,
Yeah,
but, like, yelling at you, and then you were, like, super mad at me too, I don't know. I
yeah.
had a lot of anger at that time that I was working through.
It's fine. It was fun. Well, because that was
It was
kind
a
of the
fun
whole point
class.
of the class, kind of, because the
Yeah.
freeing the natural voice or whatever the book that
Yes.
we did the curriculum off of, um,
Mhm.
is sort of amazing. It's like this
Yes.
whole methodology to like it's like almost like method acting, sort of, but like
Mm.
mindfulness. I don't know.
It's like relaxing your vocal organs to the point where you can speak naturally, like the way
Hmm.
that your body was meant to speak without all of the constraints and that stress and social pressures sometimes put on your like, sometimes you speak really nasally because you're really or your throat might be really tight because you're really anxious or I don't know if I'm even explaining that right. It was the hippiest class I ever took, but I loved it.
Yeah, I remember half of the classes we were just like laying on the floor and he was
On the
reading us
floor.
mindfulnesses. and we were
Yes.
like falling asleep sometimes.
Yeah. It was a meditation that was like, take in a breath and imagine
You're a
your
tree.
esophagus is a tree and your
Yeah.
trunk of the tree is rooted deeply. And then you would occasionally have to do like a ha,
Yeah. Yeah.
ha, like imagining vibrations across the pool in
Yeah.
your belly.
It truly, it was
Yeah.
wonderful. And he did such a good
Yeah.
job at like leading them. It was like
Oh, he was so
so
soothing.
so soothing. And then we also the other thing I remember we learned about muscles in the face and the tongue.
Oh,
And we had to like
yeah.
I remember we had to stare in the mirrors at our tongue for like a
Oh my
really
gosh,
long
I
time.
forgot about that. Yes. I rem I feel like the thing I still sometimes use and that I wish I had learned better, was we did a unit on dialects at the very end
Mhm.
where we had to write in phonetics,
Yeah,
like
oh my
break something down and
gosh.
write it with the phonetic symbols, and then do like a monologue in a different dialect.
Yeah, that was so
I
hard. It
did
was
like
like
a My Fair
legit
Lady one.
learning another
Yeah,
language.
it was very cool. I wish I
Yeah.
had remembered
That class was
or, like,
so
still
cool.
remembered it. I love that
If
class.
I had to go back to college and they said you had to take one class from college, that might be on the list.
Yes, and it
Th-
was a good group. I mean, I think that's the only class we ever took together
Maybe.
because we didn't study the same things. I was in science,
Oh yeah.
biology,
I
with
was
a
a
theater minor.
I was a theater minor too, but then
Yeah.
that I was like one class away from being a theater minor, and it was only a class that was offered in like the spring, and I was graduating in
Oh,
the winter, and so I would have had to stay like another year just
ugh.
to finish it. So I was like, well, I guess I will be an almost theater minor.
Which theater degrees don't really matter. Like, you don't have to have a degree. It's just fun to take the classes.
Yeah, and that class made the whole thing worth it. Um,
Yeah, it
and
was great.
the play saved my butt. Being a theater minor really
Yeah.
saved my education.
I'm so glad. It totally threw mine off because I added too many minors. I had too many interests. I never graduated, guys. I did not stick with it. And because I was a transfer student, did you ever have problems with this? I transferred because my high school in Washington State did a thing where you could get your associate's degree from community college while you were also a junior and a senior in high school. You could take
Mhm.
college and high school
I
classes
knew
at the
people
same
that
time.
did that, but I
Yeah.
graduated high school first.
Okay. So I did that. I didn't quite get my associates, but I graduated high school. Then I almost got my associate's degree, but I like failed a math class and it was different from your fail. I like took one that was too hard and I was really stubborn, so I took it 3 times in a row and failed it 3 times in a row
No,
instead of just like going
no.
back down to something easy.
Why?
So that's why I never got my associates. And then I transferred with a ton of credits. And then they instituted and then I stayed that summer that we did the play, and then I needed to move home to save up money to come back. And while I was gone, they changed and put in a new policy because people would just stay at this school for years and like take one class and like live off campus somewhere, just part-time student their whole way through their degree and live there forever. And it was not very sustainable. So they have a policy now that's like a 9 semesters in residence
Mhm.
policy. So I had been there for 5 semesters and then they were like, "Oh, also this, community college credit you transferred counts for 2 semesters. So technically you've been here for 7, even though you've only been here for 5.
What?
And you have 2 semesters left to finish your degree. And when you're a biology, if you do any kind of biology science type thing, you need 4 semesters of research and thesis. There's like 4 classes you have to take all in a row. That's like basically one long ongoing research project. And anyway, that's why people were really mad about it. A ton of people were appealing. I had gotten married at that point and we were like planning to move back. I had like been readmitted,
Mhm.
and my husband, he already had his degree, so he's like, I'll just work for housing and we'll get free housing when we live there. And anyway, had it all planned out. And then they were like, by the way, you have to be able to finish in 2 semesters. That's all you have left. And they did say, like, you can do some semesters online if you want, but this class I needed, it was a lab. You like can't
Yeah, you can't do
do
that.
that. So, and I just didn't have any way. I like tried to get a hold of my advisor to help me, and I could never get a hold of anyone. So I spent hours on the like mapper thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what if I tried this degree or this class? What if I tried this? What if I tried this? I could not figure anything out. So I was like, all right, not meant to be.
Yeah.
I will quit. I will not come back.
Well, I wonder if you
Anyway,
could have like taken a like whatever class you needed in before you moved over there and then transferred it in and then finished.
I might have been able to, but it would have had to be a different degree. Like it couldn't have been the biology one because that needed those like 4 consecutive classes all in the same place with the same advisor that's mentoring you through the
Boo.
research. And because I had been like so interested in so many things, I had like 3 different minors that I had tried to add at 3 different times. And so I had just taken a crap ton of classes, but they were all super random and did not fit together to make any kind of a degree. It was awesome. I loved college, but I don't have a piece of paper that says I did anything. So.
I mean, it's overrated anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it gave me $1 raise at my first job out of college.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
That's significant.
But
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
that was fun.
All that to say,
we haven't talked about college in a long time. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, anyway, that seems like a pretty good place to pause. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that you didn't get to talk about?
Nope, I don't think so. But guess what? I can't even open my notes because
you're stuck.
Well, I briefly mentioned this to Charli yesterday, but I have a problem being on my phone too much or staying up too late scrolling and all that stuff. So a couple of years ago, I put a lot of restrictions on my iPhone. So at 9:00, which it is now like 9:05 my time, everything locks down except for like my phone, messages, a map, the clock, like the very basic things I need.
Mm-hmm.
It all locks down and I can't get in. And I know if you use an iPhone, you're thinking, well, it's super easy to bypass that with a passcode. Just like type it and it has you put your passcode in. But guess what? I was really smart and I had my husband set the passcode and not tell me what it was. And then he forgot it. So at 9:00, my phone's gone. Like I can't. I can't get into stuff. I can't check my email. I guess I have like a 1 minute. There's like a 1 minute thing. Anyway, whatever. I'm fine. This was super fun. I loved talking to you. And I'm on my phone a lot less. So this was very successful. That plan I had.
Yeah, especially because good thing I took a computer. I gave you an email link and you're on the computer because otherwise your phone would have like locked me out.
That's why I'm like, Charli, you can't just text me the link for this. I got to do it on my laptop. Well, yep. But it's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, it's so fun talking to you.
Yes. Okay. Well, we will talk again soon because we might have some exciting information about a potential new season of Saturday Night Sleepover that you'll just have to stay tuned to figure out what it is.
You better be on the edge of your seats. It
is
thrilling.
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 I think it's going to be really fun.
I think so too. I'm excited.
Yay! Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to tell you that I haven't started playing spoons yet, but maybe next time.
Oh, what the heck?
I found out that you have to like bend the spoon and like wrap it with tape and stuff to turn it into an instrument. You can't just like literally grab it out of your drawer, which is what I did as like a 5-year-old who thought I could play, or I was probably 10.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I could do this. Anyway, so I just ordered in my Walmart order for tomorrow 2 spoons that I can use as instruments instead of
Well,
my eating utensils.
I'm very excited to hear
Yeah.
your progress.
Yeah, I'll send you audio recordings.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay, love you. Bye.